Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hope your Tuesday is going swimmingly. Our Tuesday here out in Chandler is going really, really well. I got Carlos over here. Yeah, Carlos over here. I got Jordan over there, and it's going fantastic. What I wanted to talk about today, I've been doing these live streams, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm getting them all edited down, so if you miss one or you want to go back and review one, you can watch the live version, but I'm getting them edited down, and I'm going to upload them to YouTube and the Campaign Donut website so that you guys can go check it out and kind of get the bulk of what it is that we're talking about. Today we're talking about branded images. I'm going to show you some examples, but one of the things that I notice across a lot of entrepreneurs is the frustration that they have when it comes to creating branded images, when it comes to creating like their blog graphics, their social media graphics, when it comes to creating things like webinar images, when it comes to creating like social sharing images, quotes, things like that. So I want to go through a little bit and share how we approach things at Shrine Media. So Shrine Media is my business. It's a digital marketing agency. We work with business owners and companies that are selling products online. So they do their business online, and they are passionate about what they do, and they're knowledgeable about what they do. Those three things, those are the people who we can help the most, and it's a lot of fun getting to do that, because a lot of times business owners just want to focus on their products or their services and their customers, and marketing winds up being a frustrating thing that gets in the way. So it's like a perfect pairing. They love what they do, and they want somebody else to tell the world about it, and that's where we come in. So we've done probably six figures every single year when it comes just to design work. And the design work can range from creating something like a logo, to creating a landing page, to creating graphics for a website, to creating social images. It covers an entire spectrum. Printed images, banners, things like that. So we do a lot of work in the design area, and there's a few things that we've kind of learned. Now, in the beginning, when we were doing logo design, so that's where we're going to start, is talking about logo design. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section. I'm monitoring here, so we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope at the same time. So if you have questions, put it in the comment section. I'd love to hear them from you. And if you're watching the replay, you can go ahead and send a message to dave@campaigndonut.com, and I'll get that. But when we started, we were just doing logos. We were just designing logos for companies. And I knew when I got started doing this, it was a freelance thing even before 2014. When I got started doing it, I knew that it was important to have a logo. And I knew that there was an importance to it beyond just having a great image. But I couldn't really articulate it, and I didn't really know how it would implement it, like how to implement something beyond a logo. And it's something that comes with time, it comes with experience, and quite honestly, it comes with needs. So in the beginning, I said, we really want to have a logo that is stacked. So you've kind of got your main icon, and then underneath that, you've got your title. And then next to that, you want to have a logo that's side to side. So you got your icon here, you got your text there. Hey, Scott, how's it going, man? Good to see you, dude. Very, very good to see you, and it's good to be seen. And the next one you have is kind of just the icon only, so it's just that icon marker. Then the next one is just the text, and then maybe a couple variations. Then you want to have a full color version, you want to have a black version, you want to have a white transparent version, and then beyond that, there's certain file types that you want. Certain file types that you want so that you can create, your logo in any size, any application that you need. So that's where we started. And then over the course of time, what would happen is we'd start applying these logos to websites. And I found myself feeling like, man, it's kind of hard to integrate these logos into, just straight up integrate them into a website. We really need to have a color palette defined. And so in the early days, before I was doing Shrine Media full time, in the early days, I'd kind of just pick and choose. But as we started to evolve, I said, you know what, I shouldn't just be picking and choosing colors, because a client can come back and say, hey, I don't like those colors. And I say, well, they match your logo. Well, I don't want those colors. So we started doing logo design and then introducing color palette selection. And so now we had two elements to go and apply to all of the other platforms that a client would be using. That was very, very helpful. Having a go-to color palette really eliminated a lot of decisions. And they weren't complex color palettes. They were very simple. As a matter of fact, let me show you an example of color palettes here. So you can see, here's Campaign Donut. I'll just take you to brand. So we'll bring it up here. I'm live streaming, so it might take a second to load. But you can see here that for Campaign Donut, we actually have an entire color palette. Right? And so all of our graphics, all of our design, everything that we do is using those colors right there. And so we added the color palette idea. And that made life a lot easier. That made it simpler to design. That made it simpler to coordinate. That made it simpler to have things look cohesive across all different applications. And so that was probably 2013 before I started Shrine Media. Then when I started Shrine Media in 2014, we continued to do this design elements, but on top of that, we were doing a lot of social media. And so we designed some images that contained the logo and that contained the color palette. And in a kind of like a typical layout, we were using Canva and just kind of choosing their layouts and applying a company's logo and their colors to it. And then from there, we started adding fonts. And we said, well, you know what, let's use these fonts to the point where now when we do design, it's a full spectrum of elements that can then be applied to just about any layout that you need. And so I'll go back here to the screen to show you Campaign Donut. And you can see right here, let's go to the very, very top. So if we go back to the very top, we create these pages for our clients. This has become part of our design package, and so they have access to all their files at any time. So if we scroll down here, you'll see we've got the link to download an entire zip package. So that's a really, really cool thing that our clients like, is that they can download one file that has all their images. Right here, they can go and they click Access Files, and it brings up all of the actual files in a Dropbox folder we've created for them. It brings them all up and allows them to download the individual files that they need. So they don't need to download an entire zip file. And they can also send this link up here. They can send this link up here, or they can send this actual Dropbox link to any vendors, and the vendors get what they need. Down here is your secondary logo. Down here is your icon only. And the next evolution we did was called visual marketing assets. So we took those generic social media graphics that we were creating in things like Canva, and we said, you know what, let's actually expand these out and let's create some graphic looks, not just the layouts themselves, but the overall looks that are conducive to the client's brand. And so we started building out, okay, when you create a statement or like a feature article, this is what it's going to look like. When you upload a cover photo, this is what that cover photo needs to look like. When you create an article and you share that article online, this is what the thumbnail should look like. It should resemble this. When you're posting speakers, when you're posting to Instagram, this is what those looks need to be. Now, we've evolved these looks, and I need to update this page, but we had a starting place. And so the brand over time starts to develop a really strong, cohesive look. And you can see, again, here's our color palettes, and we deliver these to all of our clients so that they have the web hex code they need. They have the CMYK so they can print the colors correctly, and then an RGB so that the colors can be represented correctly on any red, green, blue LED display. And then when you scroll down, this is the most recent thing we started adding, and this one has been a real game changer for us because it's had great influence beyond colors, fonts, logos. All those things are important, but these last ones have had a really strong influence of all of the designs like a logo would, and it's these branded backgrounds. And now what these branded backgrounds are is essentially the go-to looks that you'll apply to any web page, that you'll apply to any landing page, that you'll apply to any email graphics, and you say, you know, these are the backgrounds that we're going to use across the board. And what I love about these is that it brings in a cohesive look across all of your graphics everywhere. So if we go to the Campaign Donut website, the homepage, you're immediately going to see how this is applied. Look here at this homepage. See the background here? Well, it's this image applied to the homepage with a little bit of a white on top of it. Scroll down here. We've got a new design that we're working on, and we added these elements in here that I need to pull in. Scroll down. You've got this background right here, which is one that we use across all of our stuff. You've got that overall icon look. Scrolling down, you've got all of these freebies, the SEO webinar, the free webinar graphic templates, the photos with 4th of July images, the Christmas photos, and all of those have a branded background. Let's click on Discover More Resources. You'll see here when we go to this freebie page that has just tons of free stuff, all of these have these branded backgrounds. So not only are we featuring the logo and the colors, but we also have this overall look that's represented through a background. And when you create these elements and you have these in your arsenal, you can become a graphic designer at any point in time. And you're not going to spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in front of your screen, designing 6 posts to support a big, long SEO post that you're releasing on your website. You're not going to have to spend tons of time trying to reinvent the wheel because the wheel's right here. And it's easy to apply, and it's easy to move around. Something else, let me see here. If we go to the blog, you'll see that I've applied the same background images, the same colors, to the different blog posts we have. Right here at the very top, we've got this hero image. And we've got the icon. So let's go back over here to the brand. Here is that hero image. I think it's that one right there. Yeah, there's the hero image. The one that's in the background, it's applied to this one, just with a kind of like a opaque black overlay, so that it looks pretty good. So that gives you an idea there of how you can really up your game when it comes to how you can really up your game when it comes to your visual branding. Now, the visual branding is really important. It's not as important as knowing what your product is. It's not as important as having clarity on your service, or service or product. It's not as important as the overall narrative of your brand, but it is important. And so as you get those other pieces in place, those other pieces will inform this piece. So one of the things that really inspired, let's go back to the Campaign Donut page. One of the things that really inspired me for this homepage right here was I said, I really value systems and processes. Shrine Media is built entirely on systems and processes, and those things are very, very, very important to me. But there is let me move this up a little bit here. There we go. But there's actually a lot of human elements that go into what we do. Back when I worked in a nonprofit, we would use forms for everything that we did to get all of the information from our staff. We would say, hey, fill out this form. It'll deliver everything that we need. And that way we can actually serve you more quickly and more completely. Well, I had a saying, never use a form for something that requires relationship. And at Campaign Donut, what Campaign Donut is all about is empowering you to create content marketing campaigns that convert for your business, that convert leads into sales, visitors into leads, leads into sales, that convert for your business. There is a human element to that. So while there's the kind of this illustrated look that I've got represented right here, while there's this kind of design, graphic, balance, automation type look, there's also a human element. And that's what informed this look right here was, hey, there's systems and processes, but on top of all of that, the most important thing is the human. The most important thing is the person. And so that brand story, that Donald Miller calls it the story brand, that brand story, that brand narrative, what you're really trying to accomplish with your business winds up informing your graphics, which provides a much stronger brand narrative as people interact with your business, interact with what you're doing, interact with what you're saying. As they get to know you better, they get to see that, hey, who these people are actually lines up with everything I see from them and read about them. So that's really the importance. And this is how you can, quite frankly, make your graphics a lot easier. I think I'm going to wind up doing a webinar on this because it's really important stuff for folks to invest in. Now, when I say invest, I do mean money, because a lot of times the people who are running the business, they're not going to have the skills and the abilities to pull this sort of thing off. So at Shrine Media, we do something like this for about $3,000. And we can scale down and eliminate some things so that you get the pieces that you really, really need up front and then add later. But we do all of this stuff because it's important from the get-go to have this brand consistency and to take off of your plate the need to feel to design, because we don't want our clients to design. We don't want our clients to get slowed down by having to pop into Canva and try and come up with something new, because that's where they start to lose money. And so I had a post yesterday, I think it was on Twitter, where I basically said, like, hey, you got a really cool idea for a business? That's awesome. Either you're going to have to do it all on your own, or you're going to have to pay someone to do it for you. And then I said, I've got a new business that I'm starting up, and I've already dropped over $10,000 into it, and I haven't brought in a penny. I'm doing things the right way because I believe in my idea. And really, that's what a lot of this comes back to is, do you believe in your idea? Do you believe that what you're going to do is going to produce income? Do you believe that your product is something that's going to be sought after? Do you believe that your service is something that is going to be responsible for transformational income for you? Because if you believe it, don't slow down investing in it, both with your time and your money. But if you don't believe in it, you need to pick something else. And the biggest way to gauge your belief in yourself, in your idea, the biggest way to gauge that is by how much am I willing to give up in the beginning when I don't have anything coming back? When I don't have anything kind of filling back up that bank account? How much am I willing to save and put aside? Like I said, my new idea, over $10,000 in the last 6 months, and I haven't really had any return on it yet. Now that's going to change, but right now it's all about getting the business together and getting the business launched. There were a lot of things that I could not do for myself, that I had to go out, hire somebody else to do, bring them in, borrow their expertise, and then continue to move on piece by piece by piece. There's a lot of things that I can do, but because I believe in my business idea, because I believe of the revenue it's going to generate for me, it's easy for me to make the temporary sacrifice of saying, hey, this is money that could go in my pocket. I'm going to put it somewhere else right now. And that's really the case. Sure, I would love to take my wife on a trip to Hawaii and have $10,000 extra dollars to go spend and have fun. But right now, that's not where the priority is. I believe that this idea is worth investing in. And after waiting an entire year, so I thought of it probably in the fall of 2017, and it wasn't the right time. And as we approached November of 2018, I started to feel, now I'm a Christian, and so when Christians say things like this, it's basically them saying, like, I believe that God is going to bless this particular area, and whether it's going to be blessing financially, whether it's going to be blessing personally, whether it's going to be a blessing for my spiritual life, whatever the case might be, I believe God's going to bless. So I believe God was calling me to begin to pursue this idea. I believe he's the one who told me just not to do it, and I believe he's the one that called me to do it. So I got this inkling in my heart that, okay, now is the right time to do this. And I started investing, and I started working, and I haven't slowed down, and I'm not about to slow down yet. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a direction when it comes to your visuals in your business. Hopefully it gives you that direction that you need to actually establish a visual brand. That's just as important as that brand narrative. The brand narrative needs to come first so that it informs the visuals. But those visuals are still very, very important. And if you have any questions, or if you want me to take a peek at your visuals, I'm more than happy to do that, give you a little bit of feedback, tell you what I think, maybe give you some pointers here or there, maybe put it in front of our illustrator. We hired a full-time illustrator this year, and it's been just awesome. Awesome. So we could put it in front of him and just say, hey, do you have any real quick suggestions? There's a question that comes up in a lot of circles where people are designing stuff for their business, for their brands, as they say, hey, what's a good alternative to Photoshop? What's a good alternative to Illustrator? Because people are sick of paying Adobe. Like, they're just tired of paying Adobe. I'm sick of paying Adobe. So I said the best alternative to Adobe is hiring a graphic designer, is hiring a graphic illustrator. That's the best alternative. But obviously that's kind of a joke, because it's a lot more expensive to do that than it is to pay for Adobe. But nonetheless, like I said, if you got any questions, please let me know. I hope these are helpful for you. I'm doing them because I believe, with all the questions that I get every single day via Twitter, via email, from our clients, from our staff, I like creating these so it kind of gets the ideas out there, and then I can refer back to them later. But I believe that there's people getting help in real time based upon all the feedback that comes my way. So if this is helpful, please let me know. Please like the video. Please share it. And put it in front of other people who are going to benefit from the knowledge, benefit from my vibe, and quite honestly, just benefit from having a voice saying, you've got this. You can get out there. You can do it. You can make it happen. There's just a few things you need to do to get out of your own way, and that's really what I'm showing up to try to do. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate the time that you've taken, especially if you've watched the entire thing or popped in and have watched till the end. I appreciate your time. That really means more than anything, because you can always figure out a way to make more money. You can never figure out a way to make more time. So thank you so much, and I will be talking to you soon. Peace out.